welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I am working on 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. I missed day 20, which was a gorgeous sketch, and because we don't have a bonus sketch to my knowledge for day 31 in October, I thought I would save it for today. And this is the sketch created by Miss Carrie. I will have her YouTube information linked for you below. She's an amazing scrapbooker. She's hugely talented. And so I think you should visit her channel and her Instagram and check out some of her beautiful work. This sketch is an amazing sketch, and I have some Christmas photos here because I told you I was going to spend the last few sketches doing Christmas photos. And there's one more of those somewhere. Here it is. I have pulled out my bits and pieces from Vicki Boutin's Warm Wishes and Evergreen and Holly. It's a combination of the two collections. At this point, I'm not even sure what I have on my desk unless it's labeled like this one is. So I have some ephemera. I have the thickers for some titles. I have the poinsettia paper, and then a bunch of other bits and pieces to get me going. Several of the 6x8 sheets of pattern paper because I don't have any full 12x12 left anymore. Just working with scraps and the paper, the 6x8 paper pad. So I'm going to pause. We're going to get started. I will be right back.
I took some time off camera and I matted my photos. I used those two 6x8. They're kind of a light blue texty print to mat them. And I also took this piece of paper here. It was about 1.25 inches or so wide, and I cut it in half, and I'm going to use it on both sides of my cardstock. I also took the time to cut out my banner pieces and used a punch to go ahead and create my banners. If I want banner pieces to be uniform at all, I have to use a punch. I can never ever get them even. I apologize that I did not move out for completely, and I'm working kind of off camera. My camera turned off and I didn't check before I started filming again to make sure that I had everything in camera. So what you are seeing or not seeing me do here is I'm using the Lumberjack Plaid Distress Oxide to go ahead and stencil on this background. I used a light blue background paper, and I just put a row of stenciling down on either side of where that photo mat is going to end up on the right hand side. And what you also see here is why you should never ever buy cheap pads for your handles, because that one completely fell apart, and what's frustrating is it was brand spanking new. I had not used it before, but it completely fell apart, and I don't think I was being rough with it at all. So I know that you can't see it, but there is a stenciled border on either side of this mat. I'm tucking a tag up in there above where it says December. The December came from the 6x8 paper pad. It was a calendar, and I just used it to tuck down below. Now I'm going to kind of play with these banner pieces. First, I'm sorting them into sizes, and they range from 2 inches, there's 1 inch, and there's 1.5 inches. Because I used 6x8 paper pads to create these, I knew that they were not going to be wide enough to go all the way across underneath my photos. So I'm cutting them in half. And I know that also they are not currently even. I will fix that off camera with my Omnigrid ruler, and I just use it to kind of glue everything down and in an order that looks pleasing to the eye. It's going to kind of look like what you see on that right hand side. Again, I apologize that I am working off camera. Sometimes I wish you could go back and redo a segment of a video when you goof up like this, but the layout's done and I can't do that. But you can kind of see what I'm doing by how I'm playing on the right hand side. So when I cut the text paper, I managed to remember to cut it with forethought and made sure that the text was going the right direction. Of course, that means that those pieces are extra small, and so they definitely had to be cut in half. But you know, this works out pretty well. The only one I don't cut in half is that bottom stripe. Now, on the sketch at the top, she had a little like tab that had the corners rounded, and I'm just taking this little scrap that I've had laying around, and I'm going to use that up there at the top. In a minute, this will go ahead and zoom out so that you can see everything. So now you can see how I got all of those banners glued down. Like I said, I used my Omnigrid to do that. And I'm adding a little bit of the stenciling at the top just to mimic what I have on the right. Her sketch also had some beautiful stitching on it, and yes, I love to stitch, but my goal today was to get 2 videos recorded, and I did, and I just didn't take the time to stitch on this layout, although stitching would look really beautiful on the bottom of the layout. And maybe I'll redo the sketch sometime, and I'll go ahead and do it as she intended with the stitching. But for today, I'm just kind of piecing together, as you can see from that photo mat, I'm just piecing together all of these 6x8 papers and the scraps that I also used. I am going to bash this set of collections. It's Warm Wishes and Evergreen and Holly by Vicki Boutin, and I mixed them together because they looked so much alike, and I ran out of, I think, embellishments for one or the other. The funny part is I don't think I got all of the papers in one collection, but the other collection I did manage to get almost all of the papers, but I didn't have enough embellishments, so I mixed them together because they're Vicki Boutin papers. They meld together. Her collections always meld together pretty well, and so I just figured, why not? And as I stated, I'm very close to being done. There are still quite a few embellishments left. I have one set of the specialty thicker sets that I haven't even opened yet. And I haven't even used the first set completely. And I don't know where or how I managed to get 2 sets of those. But anyway, I have been trying to use these letters, and I like that I was able to cut down that sticker so that it says Christmas Day instead of Christmas is coming, and I used the thickers to make the word day. The bow I'm putting on top of my tag just so that there's not an empty tag hole. That doesn't always bother me, but you know, sometimes I like to make sure that I don't leave a tag hole empty. And usually, if you watch me, you know that I use twine a lot in my tag holes. So it was nice to actually use a sticker there and get it used up. I'm going to use this little banner here at the bottom for my journaling. It's not going to say a whole lot. I mean, you can see what's going on. It's my husband. He's opened up his Christmas presents. And I added a banner sticker underneath the holly and berries on that left side. I'm going to put the date there. I add a poinsettia flower up underneath that piece of chipboard.
All right, I got this layout done. I think the stenciling really helped make this layout, and I wanted to make sure I got it on both sides. So I only put it up at the top here, but I got it on this side on both sides, and then I just layered up some ephemera and some stickers, added my title. You saw that this said Christmas is coming, and I just chopped off the is coming so that it would work for a title on my layout, and I'm pretty happy with the way that this turned out. Please make sure that you check that description box below for this month's playlist. At this point, everybody should have all of their layouts and videos on the playlist, and I assure you there are some really awesome creators who are putting out content for this hop. Also, make sure that you check out Miss Carrie's creations on Instagram as well as YouTube. I'll have both listed below for you. She's an amazing scrapbooker. She's on design teams for, I think, at least 2 places that I can think of. And she puts out some amazing work. And I know that you will be absolutely inspired by her work on Instagram and YouTube. So you guys have a great rest of your day. And tomorrow is November, so happy November. Bye.